YouTube, it's Jamar back from Vegas Scents. In this video today, I'm comparing a Dior Privee fragrance with a clone of that particular fragrance. And the fragrance that we're going over is Ambre Nuit by Dior Privee. And we're comparing that to Ambre Night, and that's by Perfumery Privezarah. All right, so just before I get started with the comparison video, if you're brand new to the channel, go ahead and leave me a like and a comment below. Also, subscribe to the channel and please share the video if you find the information helpful. So I just got in a sample of Dior's Ambre Nuit, and as you all know, if you've been following the channel, probably about, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago or so, I picked up this Ambre Night as well as the Bois d'Argent clone, as well as the Gris Montagne clone within this Perfumery Privezarah collection. And I was pretty happy, especially with this one. The Bois d'Argent clone, that one, when I did the comparison video on that one, I definitely could tell that there was definitely like a quality difference between the Privezarah version and the original. The original definitely smelled a lot better, a lot more complex. The iris in that particular fragrance to me was definitely much higher quality. So I was really curious to know how close this would actually smell to Ambre Nuit, because I did actually really enjoy the way that this one smelled. So I was wondering, like, man, if this one has the same kind of quality difference, then I wonder how much better, the Dior Ambre Nuit actually smells. And so that's what we're gonna find out in this video today. So I've got a 2 ml sample here of the Dior, and I'm gonna spray that on a strip here. And we'll spray the Ambre Night on this one. And right off the bat, there is definitely a difference. But the difference in these two fragrances, I can't say there's like a quality difference. There's just a difference in smell. So straight off the top, the Ambre Night by Perfumery Privezarah, that fragrance, it seems to be a lot more sort of fizzy and sweet, and definitely a lot more sort of amber focused. Whereas the Dior Ambre Nuit, this definitely is a lot more sort of powdery. Yeah, this one is definitely powdery. It's less sweet. The amber is definitely, it's not as much of a focal point, at least here in the immediate opening. And this is definitely a lot more sort of rosy. And yeah, the Ambre Nuit is definitely, like I said, it's definitely more sort of like a fizzy type of amber. Kind of like that same sort of fizziness that, again, like I mentioned before in the previous video, the same type of fizziness that you get from like a Roja Creation E. Not as fizzy and bubbly as that, but kind of, going along those lines. And I mean, you can definitely tell that there is some rose in the Privezarah clone. However, it's not, the rose is not the focal point of this particular fragrance, the Ambre Night. That's right. This is the Dior. So yeah, the Dior just comes off, in my opinion, a lot more sort of powdery, rosy, a lot more feminine in my opinion. Whereas the Perfumery Privezarah Ambre Night, this one to me is coming off a lot more unisex, a lot more ambery. It's definitely got more of a sweetness to it. Almost sort of like a kind of vanilla or maybe even like a tonka bean type of sweetness. And also the Ambre Night by Perfumery Privezarah, it also, in my opinion, has slightly more of a spice to it. I'm definitely getting more of sort of like that kind of pink pepper type of vibe or note, you know, that you get from Ambre Nuit. I'm definitely getting more of that from this this clone. So this is the pretty much the opening of the fragrance. Now, I also sprayed these two on two strips earlier on, probably about 4 or 5 hours ago. And definitely the Ambre Nuit, it starts to become more like the Ambre Night by Perfumery Privezarah. So it starts to become more sort of ambery and sweet, and you know, kind of less. It loses that sort of rosy floral aspect, but the Ambre Nuit, in my opinion, at least in this far dry down, it sort of has more of kind of like an ambergris type of feel to it. Whereas the Perfumery Privezarah Ambre Night, this one is still kind of holding on to like that sweet, not as fizzy anymore sort of amber, but it's definitely like a sweet, slightly fizzy amber. And it's a little bit more sort of spicier than what the Dior is. So I think when it comes down to it, man, it sort of depends on what you personally like. I can't say necessarily that this is better 100% anyway. I can't say that it's 100% better than the Ambre Nuit. Just kind of talking maybe objectively. Now, if I'm just speaking on my honest opinion as far as what I like, I would have to say that this is better, at least for me, because definitely in the opening, this smells to me, you know, totally unisex. And the Dior Ambre Nuit, it definitely smells a lot more feminine and powdery and rosy, in my opinion. So definitely, like I said, for me, I would much rather prefer wearing this one. Again, I don't sense any sort of quality difference between the two. So they both definitely smell top quality. I don't really get any sort of cheapness from this. I don't get like a complexity difference or anything like that. This one just has a slightly different texture than the Dior does. And it's a texture and, you know, sort of scent profile that I actually prefer over the Dior. Now, it does help that this fragrance is less than $30, and the Ambre Nuit goes for, I don't know what Dior Privee fragrances are going for now, but I think like the 4-ounce bottles are $330, or you know, maybe even more than that now. So definitely, I can't say that this fragrance smells that much more better than, you know, what this one does. I think it just all comes down to what your personal preference is. So I would say for the Ambre Nuit, this I would maybe more so recommend to women. And then the Ambre Night, I would absolutely more so recommend this one to men. because like I said, this is a lot more unisex in my opinion. And I think that added sort of spice that this one has actually makes it maybe lean slightly more in the masculine direction. Because like I said, this one, you do kind of smell that rose in the background with this one, but it's not as much of a focal point as the Ambre Nuit is, at least in the opening. This is definitely more sort of amber focused for sure. All right. So in terms of like the performance, I get average performance out of this one. This one I can detect on my skin like around 6 hours or so. And then, I mean, it's for the most part, it's pretty much like a dead skin scent. But while you're wearing this, I love the way that this smells. I, for the most part, only wear this at night. I mean, I think, you know, possibly you could probably wear this in the day. If I were to wear this in the daytime, though, it would probably be to like more of like a upscale type of event where I'm dressed up. This doesn't really strike me as sort of like the day casual type of scent. All right. But like I said, I get about 6 hours on skin with this one, and I get probably about average projection or so for at least about the first hour to probably hour and a half. All right. So overall, man, this is a really, really amazing scent. This is Ambre Nuit by Perfumery Privezarah. The only place that I know of where you can get this, where I've seen it anyway, is I believe it is FragranceNet.com. I believe they're the only ones really that have this fragrance. And even with them, I think it's on clearance. So definitely if you're looking for that Ambre Nuit type of smell, but you want something that is maybe more unisex, definitely check this one out. Like I said, it's definitely, the last time that I checked, it was less than $30. So definitely check it out. All right. So let me know, have you all smelled Ambre Nuit? Have you smelled Ambre Nuit by Perfumery Privezarah? And what do you think? Do you think that this one is better? Do you think Ambre Nuit is better? Or do you like both of them equally the same? Definitely let me know in the comments. And again, share the video if you found the information helpful. Also leave a like and a comment below, and please subscribe if you're new to the channel. This is Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see y'all in the next video.